I'm giving you another 5 sleepers. If you missed part 1, it'll be linked in the top as well as in the description below. These names aren't going as deep as the last 5, but they are going pretty deep in leagues, around pick 300 or later in early ADP. And if you're into baseball and fantasy baseball, subscribe today while you're here. The first guy on this list is Carlos Santana of the Pittsburgh Pirates. The first thing you're probably asking yourself is, what do I want with this old washed up player? 36 years old, what does he have left?
Why do we as a society hate old people so much?
Well, I think there's a lot left in the tank, or at least one more year left in the tank here. We have quality power metrics, great plate discipline, actually elite plate discipline at that. Still makes a good amount of contact. Also, he is one of those that should benefit from the banning of the shift as a lefty. He is a switch hitter, but as a lefty, he's been shifted on over 95% of the time each of the last 3 years. And given the quality of contact paired with how hard he hits the ball and the fact that he pulls the ball a ton, that approach should benefit from the shift not being in place. Not to mention, he's going to get plenty of plate appearances hitting towards the top half of that Pirates lineup. The next player on this list is another player that should benefit from the shift, and that's going to be Max Kepler of the Minnesota Twins. If a player has plus plate discipline, hits the ball hard, has a pull-heavy approach, faces a ton of shifts over the years, and has a 90% Z contact rate, which is an elite rate at that, Kepler is set to benefit from the shift because he's been shifted against 89.7% or greater each of the last 3 years. When it came to hitting ground balls and line drives to the shift, he was tied for 9th most last year. And the xWOBA on those balls were 85 points higher than the actual WOBA. The only red flag here is that Kepler might platoon. He gets the strong side, so he'll get most of the plate appearances, especially because he faces plenty of right-handed pitching. And we often see Kepler get a top half of the order lineup spot against righties. So the plate appearances will still be there. Sure, he'll lose some against lefties, but there's a clear path to playing time, a clear path to production, and he's going around pick 400 right now in early drafts. The third guy on this list is Justin Steele of the Cubs. We saw Steele break out in the second half, but injury derailed the rest of the season for him. However, in those 36.2 innings, he had a sub-1 ERA with solid peripherals to go with it. Sure, you should expect regression. Obviously, he won't hold a sub-1 ERA in a full season. But there was a tangible change that led to the production change. He overhauled his pitch mix in the second half, increasing that slider usage and decreasing that sinker usage. This led to more strikeouts, as you saw by the K- walk rate improve as well. He heavily utilized the 2-pitch mix, but he does have a 5-pitch arsenal. If he can just get one of those pitches to be even an average pitch, that gives him a third solid offering. Hitters need to be aware of all 5 and plan for 3 instead of just 2 though. There's a lot to like here, a lot of upside here, and he's going around pick 300 as well in early drafts. The fourth guy on this list is somebody full of upside, full of potential, but currently slightly blocked. And I say slightly because, well, it's the Pirates. But another Pirate made this list, Endy Rodriguez. Top prospect pedigree, solid power production all through the minors, solid plate discipline that should help him transition to the major league level a little easier. And when it comes to catcher, let's be honest, it's a crapshoot beyond the top 5 to 10. So if you want to check out the top 10 linked up here, that's great. But this is a sleeper for both for catchers in general and overall. The only real issue here is that the Pirates went out of their way to sign Austin Hedges. Before that, Endy Rodriguez had clear path to playing time from day one. We saw how the Pirates handled O'Neal Cruz last year, so it's hard to assume that Endy Rodriguez gets an early call-up, but I'm still going to bet on it just because he has nothing left to prove in the minors. So if he gets stuck starting in the minors to start the year, I don't think he'll end up being there too long, maybe a May call-up. The very last guy on this list is one of my favorites. It's Luis Garcia of the Nationals. He flashed some power-speed combination, and that goes a long way in fantasy circles. 91st percentile max exit velocity. His success rate on the base paths wasn't great, but with the new rule changes and the larger bases, it could help him get better. Not to mention, he's already working on his approach. He was a bit of a free swinger last year. There are talks of him already working on his approach this offseason. And there's nothing but positive talk about this kid's work ethic. And work ethic isn't something you can quantify in the numbers, but it's absolutely something that's a positive thing to hear about a player, especially a young player that's coming into his own and still very young. If you want to read more about Luis Garcia's work ethic and overall changes he's trying to do this offseason, check the link in the description. There's an article I linked there. If you enjoyed this list of 5 sleepers, like and subscribe. It goes a long way. And if you want more sleepers, check out part 1. If you want to see some catcher talk, check out this video right here. Until next time, I'm Mike from GTE Fantasy, and we'll talk soon.